This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. As everyone hopefully knows, President Trump cannot run for a third term. I know some people want him to run, and I understand that, but guys, he's not going to run. He literally can't. That's the law. But the point is, he's not going to run in 2028. Yet, despite that, it seems like President Trump is still raking in a record amount of money, as according to the AP, Trump has raked in over $600 million, which is crazy because he's not running for 2028. Yet he's continuing to raise a bunch of money. And according to the AP, the reason is simple. He wants to expand the Republican majority even in 2026, which theoretically should be a Democrat-leaning year. It should be a year that Democrats retake the House, maybe gain a Senate seat. But no, President Trump is serious. He wants to expand the majority in 2026 and make the Republican Party have a really good chance come 2028. Now guys, before we continue with today's video, I need you to like and share this video. If you want to support the content, want to help the video out, make sure to like and share. It's a great way to help the channel with the algorithm. And if you are not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. I want everyone to subscribe if you're not. But enough of the promotional stuff. We got to talk about what Trump is trying to do here because it's very unusual. Usually, when you're in your second term as president, you tend not to care what happens come, say, 2029, because, well, come 2029, he's out of office. He's not going to run for re-election. He has no reason to really care. And I know some politicians of past, like Barack Obama, they did campaign for Clinton, I get that. But most of the time, outside of that, they don't really care. It's like, well, who cares what happens in the midterm? It doesn't matter. But after the midterm, I have no reason to care. But now, Trump is saying, no, I'm actually going to take the midterms seriously, and even 2028, 2030, the foreseeable future, basically, he wants to make sure that what he is doing right now is not going to waste, which I am so glad he's doing this because this was a big concern. After Trump leaves office, which he's going to, I know people think he's going to run, he's not going to, but the point is, when 2029 comes around, he's out of office. He's gone. And after that, well, he's going to have influence, but the fear was, well, outside of like J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, I still don't trust the GOP. I really don't. But if Trump is still involved even after 2029, like up to like 2036 or whatever, that could be good. That could make sure the party is actually doing its job. It's actually continuing what Trump started back in 2015. So that's why it's a big deal that he's raising this money, because he's not running 2028. He's just trying to make sure that what he is doing right now, it doesn't go to waste. It doesn't disappear the second he's gone. And I love that. I love the fact that Trump is saying, you know what? We are going to make sure we expand the majority in 2026. And for two reasons. One, there are still many things he wants to do. All right. In the last 2 years of office, he wants to do a bunch of other things. I'm assuming more of the immigration, more of the Doge cuts, that's going to be his focus the last couple of years. Right now he's focusing on getting deportations up, getting the tax bill stuff done. But after that, there are still some things he wants to do. And if Democrats retake the House, nothing's ever going to pass. No matter what you do, it's just never going to pass. That's a Democrat party now. It doesn't matter what Republicans support. If Trump supports it, they're going to vote no on every single thing, no matter what happens. But if Trump can expand the majority, well, it gives him an opportunity to pass even more. And on top of that, you're getting rid of people like Mitch McConnell. They're gone in 2026. They are gone. And if you expand the majority just enough, you don't have to worry about Susan Collins, which Collins is good and all, but guys, she still can be a hindrance at times. People like Murkowski are even worse. But if we expand the majority in both the House and the Senate, well, that gives Trump an opportunity to pass even more conservative stuff. And on top of that, it sets up the Republican Party in a very good position in 2028, because when J.D. Vance and more than likely Marco Rubio, they're the nominees, and more than likely Vance wins, well, they gotta have a majority. if they have a 1-seat majority with, Thomas Massey still there, you're screwed. You're never going to get anything done. But if you have like a 10 to 15, maybe even a 20-seat majority come 2028, if that happens, it puts Republicans in a really good situation for the future. And maybe J.D. Vance, he passes more of the stuff that we couldn't really do under Trump because, well, you got to deal with Thomas Massey. You got to deal with some of these people that they never do anything. They just sit there and complain. And they vote no on every single thing Trump does, which is stupid. But that's the GOP in a nutshell. They always do this crap. It's annoying. But that's why Trump is so worried about 2026. He wants to make sure that his legacy continues. And if he loses 2026 and even 2028, which I don't think Republicans are losing 28. I really believe that J.D. Vance is going to win. But you still don't want to you want to make sure that you don't lose. And you want to make sure that your legacy continues for the foreseeable future. That's what he's worried about, and I'm glad. I am so thankful that President Trump is saying, hold on a second, I'm retiring in 2028, kind of, but I'm going to make sure that these people don't ruin what I've done. So I like what he's doing, and he's still setting up the future for the GOP to be very bright, as a lot of his policies, if you have noticed, are long-term plays. Just today, Trump had a bunch of executive orders related to nuclear energy. And we're not talking about stuff that's going to go away in 5 minutes. Yeah, there's some stuff that's going to be built in, I think, a year or something. Yeah, it's like on July 4th, 2026, you have like 3 reactors built. But the point is, if you notice what the executive orders said, they're talking about stuff happening in 25 years. He wants to quadruple U.S. nuclear power over the next 2.5 decades. Does this sound like a short-term 5-minute thing? No. This is a long-term play by President Trump because he wants to make America great again. That's his number one thing. But also put the Republican Party in a great position to continue his legacy. I mean, this executive order is talking about stuff happening in 25 years. Really? 25 years from now, he's talking about quadrupling the amount of nuclear power. Which, that's a big deal. I'm so glad he's doing this. I love this. I'm a big fan of nuclear energy. I think that should be the main form of it. But the point is, Trump is talking about this in decades. Not, oh yeah, in 5 minutes, we're going to have all of this. No, it's a long-term play. He's doing this over the course of decades. And it's going to help Americans out in the long term. Yes, that's the number one thing. But it helps Republicans. It gives people a reminder of what Trump did. It's his legacy. It's a long-term play he's doing that's going to help people in 20 years from now. That's what he's trying to accomplish. I'm so glad that he's doing this. And it's not just the only thing he did today. Earlier today, he announced that the U.S. Steel stuff is finally done. As Nippon Steel, they finally got the deal done. After all those games being played, all the negotiations, we finally have the deal done. And apparently, they're going to invest, I think, $14 billion to the U.S. economy, which would create 70,000 jobs. And, of course, this is a short-term thing, but these deals are going to add up, and it's going to help Americans in the long term. That's what I'm trying to get at. This stuff is not just a short-term thing, and it's fake, and it goes away in 5 minutes. No. When you get big investments like Trump is getting right now, this ain't a 5-minute commitment, and it's gone forever. No, this is a long-term play. Get the economy going, a real economy, not the bullshit we've been dealing with for decades. A real economy that actually does something real, and it helps Americans in the long term. Democrats, meanwhile, they're going to oppose all of this. Anything Trump does, they're going to say, no, orange man bad, anything he does, it's awful, which is stupid. But that's the Democrat Party now. They're so deranged that anything good he does that's just objectively good, they're going to say no, because orange man bad. And that's going to kill them. They have nothing to run on. And that's going to be their biggest problem. Trump is still fairly popular. I know most polls have it 50-50, but compared to his first term, that's like a 20-point shift. In 2017, it was -15 every day. Now it's maybe 50-50, maybe below water by a point, but it's kind of misleading. The point is, Trump's way more popular now. Democrats, meanwhile, their popularity has gone down the toilet. It is bad. Right now, they're at 21%, if that. And that number keeps going down every single day. Every day, it sinks lower and lower and lower. And of course, the GOP, they're not that popular. They're like they're like 40% or whatever. But compared to Democrats, they're way more popular. So that's what the 2026 election will come down to. If Trump remains popular and Democrats are still hated, why would anyone vote for them? Outside the people that have TDS, which is still a chunk of America, but they're shrinking, why would anyone vote for Dems? I know people don't like the GOP, but what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to say, listen, you like what I'm doing. You like what I'm doing with the economy, with immigration, with trade deals. You love it. I need you to vote Republican in 2026 because I want to continue my policies. I want to do even more. And I want to help, say, J.D. Vance or whoever in 2028. Give them a good start to help continue making America great again. That's what he should run on. And I think that's going to be the play. Make this election about the future of America. And hey, are you better off than you were a couple years ago? Like, do you trust Democrats more than GOP? You may not like the GOP. You may not like Trump at times, but you got to trust them way more than Dems at this point. Democrats, they covered up President Biden's decline. They're incompetent. All they are now is the Orange Man Bad Party. Anything they do or anything Trump does is just the opposite. Whatever he says, they say no. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. That's the GOP or the Democrat Party. The Republican Party still has a lot of problems, obviously. But they have an opportunity, despite them being incompetent, to actually expand their majority because of Trump. Trump is giving them everything. And if they screw this up, they deserve to lose. That's my take. Trump is going to give them hundreds of millions, no, like $1 billion, to flip seats in 2026, expand the majority, and more than likely win 2028. And the policies he's doing right now, they're a long-term play. It gets better every single month. That's what he's doing. It's a long-term play. It helps Republicans get the economy going. And when he's gone, things more than likely will be booming. That's what he's pushing for. And I'm hoping the GOP, they realize that. I hope they realize that you can't just keep screwing Trump over. You cannot keep lying to the base. You can't keep screwing his base over. You have to work with Trump. You have to realize you have to win Trump voters over. They're not going to vote for you just because you're a Republican. They're not. If they have a reason to vote, they will vote. But if you don't give them a reason to vote, they're going to say, screw you. You suck. You screwed Trump over 100 times. Why would I back you? Why would I back a rhino who screwed Trump over 50 times? Why would they? It's common sense. That's Trump base. And some Republicans, to this day, they don't get it. They don't understand that, yeah, these people, they're not going to vote. If there's no reason for them to vote, they're not going to vote. And if you screw this up big time, they're never going to vote ever again. This is a golden opportunity to completely kill Democrats up and down the ballot, and they better not screw this up. This is Trump giving the GOP everything. Money, which has always been a problem. Democrats, they're not fundraising crap. They can't fundraise anymore. Without Act Blue working properly, they're losing money, they're bankrupt, their fundraising sucks now. Republicans, meanwhile, they have Trump raising $600 million already. Possibly up to $1 billion for 26. Yeah, so Trump is giving them everything. And there's still a chance these morons could screw it up. But I think at the end of the day, I think Trump will be just popular enough to where he could carry these morons over the hump. Just enough to keep the majority, maybe expand it. I'm not saying that they're going to flip 50 seats or whatever, but if he's popular still, which I think he will be, it will be just enough to get Republicans over the hump. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share it with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.